What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Mark here. I'm just gonna give my week three breakdown of what happened and all of my picks that I made, and then I will look ahead to week four and let y'all know my picks coming in for the fourth week. Overall, I went 23-9 in the first 2 weeks. And this week, unfortunately, I went down a game and I went 10-6 through week three, or I'm sorry, in week three. My picks were the following: Bills, Chargers, Packers, Colts, Vikings, Steelers, Eagles, Bucks, Raiders, Falcons, Jaguars, Seahawks, Cowboys, Cardinals, Chiefs, and Ravens. I do want to note that last second I went from Lions to Ravens, and clearly I was wrong. I should have just stayed home. But sometimes that's how the cookie crumble. Overall, I am 33-15 on the young season through 3 weeks. I'm hoping to get back on the upward swing because it seems like from week one all the way through week three, I've gone down a game. Like I said, this past week I went 10-6. Last week I went 11-5, and the week before I went 12-4. So I'm trying to get back up there. Um, this now part of the segment, which was my two highlights and my one stinker. The highlight, definitely one of them has to be my Chargers beating the Broncos. This was one of those games where I guess you could call it a prove it game for Justin Herbert. First game back at home, third game in the division out of three, where we handled the first two teams being the Chiefs and the Raiders. And everybody talks about how crazy the Broncos defense is, especially with the reigning defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain the second. I think that we had a breakout game again from QJ. He made tough catches, which actually I was kind of surprised at. He broke a couple tackles on one big play, a big chunk play, and then another one. Herbert threw it up to him near the goal line, and he made a tough catch. So he showed out. We absolutely have to highlight how Herbert made the impossible look routine on that late game tying uh, touchdown throw to Keenan Allen. It was insane. Literally, O line breaks down in front of him, breaks the tackle. Another guy approaching him hits him in the face, and he throws an absolute dime across his body, going to the left but throwing back against the grain. And he actually threw Keenan Allen open, which was like insanely impressive because he looked like he just flicked his wrist. And of course, Keenan Allen does what he does and come up big when Herbert throws him the ball. It's really called, third and Keenan or third and Allen, depending on how you want to phrase it. He's really Mr. Reliable. Oronde Gadsden really showed out in his first game after being a healthy scratch. So I was definitely happy that my team showed up and showed out, especially when it was looking ugly and Herbert had to have a comeback win. Defense, in my opinion, played lights out, with the exception of ending the second half and giving up a few fourth down plays. Um, I just think all in all, we look pretty good. I don't know how you fix this, especially in season, but our O line looks bad. Like looks very bad, and especially coming up against the Giants this week. I'm very nervous. It seems like a trap game, especially since we are undefeated and they are winless. So I'll get more into that in a little bit. My second surprise game was the Detroit Lions and the Baltimore Ravens game on Monday Night Football. Like I said, I was back and forth clearly on this game. I had Lions at first, and then I changed it to the Ravens. Lions came out and they really showed up. Like they weren't taking no for an answer. David Montgomery had a big game. I think he had 150, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think that they're gotta have it plays like the fourth down throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown, fight on. Um, I thought that was awesome. Even though he got held, he still made the catch. Like I said, David Montgomery really showed out, and I just think they had such a tough, gritty win. I will say although Derrick Henry fumbled again in crunch time, it's Derrick Henry. Like, he's gonna get it done. I think that the Ravens, especially Lamar Jackson, have to figure out how not to take as many sacks. But I think there's after you just clean up a few things, I think they're gonna get their get back this upcoming week against the Chiefs. It'll be a double whammy for me. So yeah, those are my two surprise games, and then the clunker has to be the Atlanta Falcons going on the road to Carolina and getting whooped. And not only did they get whooped by Carolina, they were held scoreless. What y'all doing in Atlanta? Like, Michael Penix, he has weapons. He got my titan from Florida, Kyle Pitts. You got my dog Drake May. Um, I mean, not Drake May, excuse me. Drake London. Fight on, my bad. Uh, they looked terrible. Um, there's not even much really to say. They stunk. I don't even think they made it into the red zone of the Carolina Panthers, and the Carolina Panthers are no stretch, a great team. Like, their defense is not that haunting where they can't even let anybody sniff their red zone. So all in all, it was a terrible game. I hope they threw away the film. It was god awful. The whole team stunk it up on that Sunday. They just went out there and wasted everybody's time. So yeah, hopefully they figure it out. I mean, if they do, if they don't, I really don't give a damn. I don't root for Atlanta like that. So it was awful. Carolina really showed up and made a statement with that shutout win. Um, so now we're gonna go to my picks for week 4. Um, I think that week 4 is gonna be very interesting. Hopefully, like I said, I get more on the upswing. And for us bettors out there, I definitely hope that we hit some fat parlays or single bets out there so we could turn this into some money, man. We got to start off with the first game, which is Thursday night football. We got Seattle traveling to Arizona. I'm going to pick the Arizona Cardinals. I know that Connor is out for the season, but I think with Connor being out, it forces Kyler Murray to have to be a superstar. And I think there's no better way than to showcase your superstardom because you're getting paid superstar money. Showcase your superstardom at home against a division rival so you guys know each other like the back of your hand. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be tough. And I think that Arizona Cardinals will pull out the victory. This is their type of game where it's, you think they ain't got a chance in hell, and all of a sudden they come out and put up some big numbers. Onto the Sunday games. We have Minnesota at Pittsburgh, but it's not really at Pittsburgh because they're in Ireland for whatever reason. I thought they should have probably did this week 1 or week 2, but I guess still early. I'm gonna pick Minnesota. I think with it being a time change, I think with it being so far away from Pittsburgh, I think with Pittsburgh with their aging roster, I think that Minnesota is going to be, the more youthful bunch and not necessarily have as much lag as the older vets that Pittsburgh Steelers have. I'm just going to go Minnesota. Washington is going to Atlanta just because Atlanta got spanked and didn't even put up a point. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders, regardless if Jaden Daniels plays. But if he plays, I'm for sure going with Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. New Orleans is going to Buffalo. We already know we're going with the Bills. I don't really feel like there's too much to say other than the Saints stink, the Aints, and Josh Allen is on a mission per usual during the regular season. We got Cleveland going to Detroit. This is a sleeper pick. I think that although the defense for Cleveland is absolutely sensational, I'm still going to go Detroit because Detroit has a very similar makeup as the Cleveland Browns defense. So that's why I'm going to go Detroit. And of course, they can put up a billion points, and it's going to be at home. So I think everything's going to swing in their favor. Carolina is going to the New England Patriots. I'm gonna go with the Carolina Panthers. More likely than not, I'll take the plus money on the spread. So, but as an overall pick, I'm gonna go with Carolina Panthers. I think they deserve at least a shot after giving that world class ass whooping. My Chargers are flying to the New York Giants to play them. It's going to be a early morning game, at least for us on the West Coast. And this is the definition of a trap game. My undefeated team versus their winless team. They're starting their rookie quarterback for the first time this season. I think our defense is going to show up to show out, even though there's not much teaching tape as far. If I don't even think he played in the preseason, to be quite honest, he played a couple plays last week, and they tried to sneak him in like folks wasn't going to pay attention. But overall, I still think that my team comes out on top. But as a better, I can definitely put some plus money spread on the New York Giants, maybe to cover the spread. Philly is going to Tampa Bay. I think that although Philly is struggling, they had that come from behind win, even though they were supposed to lose that game. Um, I think they're going to overpower the offensive line of Tampa Bay, even though Baker Mayfield has been, balling out. And I think that's just where the game will be won or lost. Obviously, a lot of games, if not all games, are won or lost in the trenches. But with Jalen Carter being right in the middle, and I'm not even sure if Tristan Wirfs is playing or not, but they're very much so banged up on that O line. But I know it'll be a very competitive game. Tennessee is going to Houston. I know I'm over when I bet on the Tennessee Titans to get their first win. And I'm going to bet them again. Tennessee going to Houston. Houston has a pretty decent team that just can't figure out how to win. And I feel like there's no time like now for Cam Ward to get his first win. This is one of my knee jerk answers. I know they looked pitiful, especially against the Colts, but I'm going to take them for the win. I might even take them at the plus. It says -7.5 Houston, so I might take them plus 7.5. I'm not too sure. Um, we'll figure out what that looks like on Sunday. Um, Indianapolis Colts going to the Rams. I think this is where the Rams get some get back after suffering that tough defeat. But Indianapolis is still undefeated, and I think this is where they take their first L at SoFi. Jacksonville is playing the San Francisco 49ers at San Francisco. Um, Whether or not Brock Purdy plays is kind of where I'm going to lean, but under the assumption that he's not playing, I'm going to take Jacksonville to win this game. I still think that Kittle is out, and I think that's a key element for them. But Jacksonville, you never know, because Trevor Lawrence will have a good game one week, and then throw three interceptions to a doo-doo Cincinnati Bengals team. So you just never know how that works. Baltimore going to Kansas City. This is a game that I'll be stuck watching, especially after my Chargers beat the Giants. For many reasons, I have Baltimore winning this game over the Chiefs. For one, it's always a tough matchup. For two, I think that it's time for Lamar to beat the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. I think Derrick Henry needs his get back. I think the defense is what's really holding me back from confirming strongly that they're going to win. Their defense, I was looking at the all 22. I don't know what they be doing. Like their players just play out of position all the time, whether that's a defensive coordinator put them in the spots or not. It just looks bad. Like he has players doing things that they don't do. He has edge rushers dropping in the coverage, not knowing, down the distance of where these players need to go as far as the offense is concerned. He has Kyle Hamilton, which is one of the top safeties, if not the top safety in the NFL. I personally think it's Derwin James, but that's just me. He has him, doing drop coverages and then having the Tampa 2 look a certain type of way. And they were just getting diced up by Jared Goff. But with all that being said, I think that Baltimore is going to control the game via the ground game and then kind of sprinkle in passes here and there. And of course, I always want to see my division foe lose. So keep getting them L's, please. Chicago at the Vegas Raiders. Caleb Williams, come on, my dog. Come on, my dog. We did this. We need this win right here. They gave you the offensive line. You know, they gave you your weapons. You got to show out. You playing against the Raiders in Vegas. Show out. This is what you need to do. The Raiders are not good. I don't care how you slice it. The Raiders are not good. Especially if you take away Max Crosby, they're for sure not good. I think this will be a shootout, however, but I have Chicago Bears winning this game on the road. Green Bay going to Dallas. I obviously have the Green Bay Packers. Mike is going to go in, get a sack or two. This will also be a shootout. But I don't think I don't think Dallas is going to have CD or one of their tackles or guards, something to that effect. I forgot who is out. But regardless, even if they add them both, I'm still going to take Green Bay. And then we go to the Monday night matchups. We have New York going to Miami. Both quarterbacks stink, but more times than not, whenever Tua needs to play big, he doesn't. I'm not a Tua Tagovailoa fan. I don't see the hype. I don't understand it. But for whatever reason, Vegas thinks that they're the favorite, which means I'll probably take the plus spread, or I might just take the New York Jets outright. Again, New York Jets quarterback situation, as far as an organization, has never really been great outside of maybe like Joe Namath or something to that effect. But I don't give a damn if it's Tyrod Taylor. I don't give a damn if it's Justin Fields. I'm taking them to beat the Miami Dolphins. And then the last game will be the Cincinnati Bengals at Denver. We keep this nice and sweet. Jake Browning ain't doing shit. And I mean, ain't doing shit with that Denver defense. So I think Bo Nix has a nice 250 plus yard game, and they're gonna win by at least 2 scores. Somewhere of the I'll put a number on it. Somewhere between like 8 to 10 points, somewhere in that range at the minimum. All right, so just to recap, I picked Arizona, Minnesota, Washington, Buffalo, Detroit, Carolina, my Chargers, the Eagles, Tennessee, LA Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars, Baltimore, Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, New York Jets, and the Denver Broncos. If you're going to tail this ticket, comment, let me know. Let me know if I'm tripping, whatever the case is. Hopefully we go a complete, 16-0 for this particular week. And we make lots of money, man. Thank you for your time again. Peace.